change. Not even seeing the sky, really. I'm working it out in my head, which I know from experience is not a place I should go to alone. The big policy. I got that more than 2 years ago. That was the trial period, I'm sure. That's plenty of time. That's 2, 3, maybe 4 years to cover the mortgage. Plenty of time for him to decide what he wants to do next. And he'll have the IRAs, and the value of the house will be way up by then, giving him even more. And there's 2 more policies to help with Mom. Oh, this could work. This could work. All I have to do is... It's green. Green. Go. 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 Just go to a therapist. I always thought that suicide was an option, but that was just me being a drama queen, you know? I mean, the ultimate fit of pique. But this time, it was a solution. I have all this stuff that builds up and it gets layered together and woven over time, and you know, until I can't sort it, I can't move. There's stress at work, and my job actually survived the recession, unlike my husband's, which landed me in the role of primary breadwinner. And I now realize that was never really part of my career plan. You know, my colleagues, those of us who kept our jobs, well, now we each get to do the work of 3 people. I can't sleep at night. If I do, I grind my teeth to a powder. My body does weird stuff like my tongue is on fire when I eat. And what happens if this, that, and the other? And when does it all end? Well, John, the therapist, his approach is cognitive. Whatever happens, I'll deal with it. That's what you tell yourself. Go ahead, say it out loud. Whatever happens, I'll deal with it. Whatever happens, I'll deal with it. It's that simple. I'm tempted to ask, so John, what else have you got? I'm too nice of a guy, and as it turns out, I'm too good of a listener, because after a while, John gets really comfortable talking about himself until he falls asleep. Well, I don't want to disturb him, so I just let myself out. I go back online to my health provider, searching for a therapist again. Oh, but how to sort them? Let's see. Geographically? Oh, no. That worked so well the last time. No. Oh, what about area of focus? Okay, children and family? No. Veterans, PTSD? No. Addiction recovery and dysfunctional families. I'll be honest. I have 25 years in Al-Anon. I already own that one. No. This time it's different. It's short-term crisis, depression, work-related stress, issues of aging. I click through to the website and wow! I wonder if I'm in the right place. It's a splash of new age blues and greens and fairy dust. There's not one, but 2 images of the same woman. Oh, sparkling eyes, warm smile, long flaxen hair. One face offers services as a therapist, psychotherapist. with a PhD in psychology. Great, because I think I'm way past MSWs. God bless them. God bless them. The other side offers 30 years experience as an astrologer? Music starts suddenly. Oh, it's soft, almost spiritual. Or like being out of doors in a field under a big sky.
When you wish upon a star, makes no
She
difference.
plays Linda Ronstadt on her website.
Anything your heart desires will come.
I absolutely have to meet this woman. In the office, I get a full look. Oh, she's long, slim, angular, wearing flowing blues and teals and purples, and her long flaxen hair is a wig. Well, it's a really good one with bangs that she pulls down into long, thin strands, creating a shady grotto for her eyes. In other words, she's even older than I am. Her name is Judith, my favorite diva from the Old Testament. So, Peter, what brings you here? It's okay if I die tomorrow. Oh, and I'm not talking about suicide. No, I'm satisfied with what I've accomplished. And I am totally uninspired about whatever might come before me. I mean, I've always been able to sense the next phase, the next chapter of my life, but lately it's like a curtain has been drawn away and there's nothing there. It's just big, black, nothing. And I also begin to see myself separating body from soul. And it's like I'm on this trajectory where the two are about to begin separating slowly over time. And my soul is getting better and smarter and moving toward eternity, while my body is slowing down and dropping off and I suppose freeing my soul of the baggage of the life force. But what is so remarkable, it's all new. This vision or non-vision, these thoughts have never been in my mind before, and then one day, they all show up. But from where? Look, I noticed on your website about astrology, and I was wondering if we could do that as part of this. What you are experiencing is very real and certainly not uncommon, but I have to tell you, I have never heard it expressed in quite that way. You have a remarkable way of communicating. Are you aware of that? You are. And yes, of course, we can incorporate your chart as part of our conversations. Now, you need to understand, however, the way this works. Now, when a client allows me permission to access their chart, it gives me an image of psyche, of your strengths and your concerns. It's like a blueprint of the soul of which you speak so eloquently. And then through a course of our conversations and sessions, why, any number of issues can be addressed. But therapy is still therapy. I'm not going to tell you your fortune. Understood? Crap. I was really hoping she would. Oh, I wanted her to fill in that big black nothing. I want to know everything that's going to happen for the next 30 years. You know, and it seems to take her a while to get my chart together. You know, the computer program isn't working, or she forgot to write it down, or finally, oh, her printer isn't working. Would it be all right if she emailed it to me? Really? Or is she just delaying because she's concerned I am not ready? Oh, good. You brought it. You brought it, yes. Now, oh. These symbols, they represent the planets, and they are the major players in your chart. I want to point something out to you here. Your sun in your 10th house of career, combined with all of this activity in your 5th house, creativity, and your 6th house, which is work and health and being of service. This represents a very powerful combination. It speaks of great opportunity in your work life. Oh, and here, Jupiter in your 4th house. 4th house is home. With Jupiter, a secure home, good fortune in the home, yes. Now, the 4th house is also mother. We haven't really talked about your mother, have we? So, at this point, it's a lot of numbers and symbols on a big wheel, and I have no clue what any of it means. And yet, this is me. I mean, work, creativity, home, work. I am a recovering workaholic. I used to be a busyholic, but then I became a workaholic. And the difference is, a workaholic actually accomplishes something. Creativity. Oh, I have known since college, and we are talking the age of disco. Since college, I have needed to be creative on a daily basis, and if not, what? And home. I have always been very, very fortunate keeping a roof over my head. So, and mother? Mom. Huh. Anyway, that's me in a nutshell. Well, yes, that is you in a nutshell. That's the whole point. You see, your chart is like an acorn, in that it contains all the information needed to grow a spectacular oak tree. Well, you've already seen it at work in your life with creativity and work opportunity. Yes, these are all part of that acorn. They are like germinal micro seeds. They will always be with you, but you still get to choose how you plant them. Germinal micro seeds. I grab hold of that idea and I believe it immediately because it gives me comfort. You see, change, well, let's just say I'm not a big fan of making any major change. So the idea that these are germinal micro seeds, always growing. Okay, so several months go by, and the only word that comes to mind is pressure. There is like a pervasive weight sitting on my shoulders, on my mind, to the point where I think I can't move. But what from? I mean, oh, it's got to be my workplace. The 5th and the 6th and the 10th houses combined. My workplace is descending into hell, the entrance to which is a massive revolving door. You see, in the space of just 3 years, I will have 7 executives above me revolve through that door, spinning like planets for me to guide, engage, and get over. And every time that door spins around, I get smacked. The result? Judith? I am losing interest in the work of 15 years. I can feel it fading, slipping. There is some force pushing and pushing and pushing, and I feel like I'm trying to hold it all together with nothing but tissue paper. I'm like a little kid inside a mature adult, and I am terrified of the darkness that lies ahead of me. Everything is just questions. What if I have overstretched my financial obligations, overstepped my abilities, overstayed my welcome in the workforce? What if I am on a path that requires cutting back, pruning the big oak tree? Will it grow again, thrive? It always has in past, but what if I am now an oak tree in decline and powerless to stop it? I feel so responsible to my job, to my husband, to our home. I think everything will fall apart if I quit. I know everything will fall apart if I quit. I have no options. I know. My chart says I have endless opportunities, but I just don't feel it. Maybe it's your moon in Taurus giving you that sense of responsibility, of loyalty. Now, loyalty is a perfectly lovely trait, but your chart is not etched in stone. You do have choices. Still, if I didn't know better, I'd say there was something, maybe it's your son squaring your... What is he doing in Sagittarius in your birth chart? How old are you? No. You are really? No. How did I not know that? You have a younger energy about you. That's how it... Oh, dear God, I owe you an apology. A professional apology. Look here, very carefully. You have a major character, the devil of the zodiac, who has re-entered your life, and he's sitting in your 6th house. His name is Saturn. Now, Saturn takes many years to travel through the zodiac. He was in Sagittarius when you were born, and he came back there again in your late 20s, and now again in your late 50s. These are times of major transformation. Saturn is the taskmaster of the zodiac, but he holds the keys to unlock your future. Saturn is asking you to review your life choices and use that unrelenting pressure that you feel, and that is Saturn, to decide to, well, whatever it is you're going to decide. So, I assume it's pressure at work or my responsibility to everything else in my life, but it turns out that this weight that I feel on my shoulders is an entire planet. And now, a major character starring in my sixth house. Okay, what am I dealing with? Who is this guy, Saturn? Well, Saturn, as I learned, is a Roman god, adapted from the Greek god Kronos, the old crone, who comes to power by castrating his own father. Ew. He then maintains power by eating his children, and I think I have control issues. Okay, that's the Greeks. Now, for the Romans, Saturn represents the harvest, aging. He's not eating his children. He's eating time. Time past, time passing. Father, time. I cannot just quit what I'm doing without blowing up my entire life. Or maybe I'm just too exhausted to come up with any alternatives. Maybe it's my complete inability to get a decent night's sleep. I mean, sixth house is work, but it's also health, and work, health, balance. Oh, at 3, 4 in the morning, I am bolt upright, panicked, wide awake, like I have never been before. I pace around, I pound away at the computer. You know, it used to be I could just lay back, relax, look up into the darkness for a while, drift off to sleep. But lately, nothing. Big, black, nothing. So, I come up with my own way of counting sheep. It's a little poem that I make up on the spot. It goes like this. I relax my eyes, and I do. I relax my thighs. You see, I have to make it rhyme. That keeps my brain distracted. I relax my hips. I relax my lips. I relax my chin. I relax my grin. I relax my shin. I relax my skin. You know, it's amazing how many body parts rhyme. I relax my shoulders. Oh, I let go of boulders. I relax my ears. I let go of tears and years of fears. I relax my scalp. Still awake? I need help. So I go to the doctor, hoping for something prescription strength, even though he never wants to give me anything. His response, well, Peter, we can start with sleeping pills if that's really the issue, or there's a range of tranquilizers, or move on to psychotropics if need be. a smorgasbord of pharmaceuticals. He prepareth a table before me in the presence of my enmity. We begin with Ambien. Works like a charm. Oh, 8 hours. Whew! I actually think I might be able to manage this after all. And then our group insurance changes, and I get a new doctor. No! Just take melatonin. Well, it turns out you're not supposed to take Ambien every night. For months. And months and months. You know, it can lead to like chronic headaches, fatigue, messed up motor skills, not to mention a wicked little addiction problem. Who knew? I even try hypnosis, but you know, my brain, it's so busy all the time that the therapist has to get a little, well, your arm is weightless and floats in the air at my command. Your arm is weightless and floats in the air at my command. Your arm is weightless. Go to sleep now! Being a people pleaser, I go to sleep. And you know, the good news is, ever since the hypnosis, I seem to grind my teeth less at night. Oh, but I'm still charting sleep in 2-hour blocks at best, so I give up. I go to my boss. This is executive number 3 out of 7, and I tell the truth. I have insomnia, and it's probably affecting my work. Well, it turns out, so does she. That's why I come in every morning at 5:30. You know, I wonder if it has something to do with all of this convergence in my 11th house of community. I mean, me caring so much about what other people think of me. This is classic Saturn. Restriction, discipline, pushing down, forcing out the truth. Do you feel any less pressure? Just a little? Yeah. You know, you seem to have an instinct for this. You know, who knows? You may be hanging out a shingle someday, reading other people's charts. What have I started, huh? And I hope that you're writing all of this down, because you need to be sharing what you are going through with other people. I'm serious. You know, insomnia may just be another part of aging. I mean, getting older, oh, it's enough to keep anybody awake at night, staring into the dark. I have it. I was up all night last night. I watched every episode of Grace and Frankie. You know, I have to ask you, how did people ever grow old before Netflix? Sometimes I see my life as a ping pong ball. I bounce back and forth between success, failure, indifference, letting go, validation, depression, complacency, disgust. Oh and that's just Monday. I mean, by Tuesday afternoon, I am completely toast. So I take a break from work, and I go outside. You know, having spoken to my boss about insomnia, I now feel emboldened doing so when I find a shady spot under an oak tree. It's a warm winter day. Wild grass popping up, a Kelly green carpet on the hills. The sky is blue and cool, and it's perfect for my sweater. And God damn it, if I am not locked out. I mean, I see this magnitude, I know it's glorious, but the weight, oh, the weight. I feel no joy. I can't even feel gratitude. I can't find the net in the middle of the ping pong table that offers some hope of balance and peace. Just dark, bleak loss. And I wonder, is this the view from the grave? Looking up into the riotous beauty of green, blue life, but unable to touch it. By the weekend, I am completely disabled. Maybe I can put a load of laundry through its paces. Otherwise, curled up in our gay man cave. Now, because it's winter, I make this French country soup. Oh, it fills the air with butter and thyme, aromatherapy. Oh, a la bon appetit. Gay comfort food. You know, this pressure, it's like a persistent, low-grade anxiety that lives in my rib cage, in my torso, and it radiates out from there. And anytime I try to do anything, it just, wham, shuts me down. And I wonder, how long does this go on? So, timeline of Saturn in Sagittarius. Okay, Saturn began its current transit in September 2015, and it moves to Capricorn in December. 2 more years! No! 23 months of reality check. Oh, the endless daydreamer having his face pushed in the ground over and over. And, you know, I didn't really get this part. No, you see, I thought the planet shows up for several weeks, maybe a few months at most, and everything else is the shadow before and after. Kind of like Mercury in retrograde. Mercury in, oh no, nothing like it at all. No, this is generally a 2 to 3 year haul before the old crone finds accommodations elsewhere. Didn't we talk about that? Well, good for you for looking it up. You see, Saturn being in Sagittarius, well, here, let me explain this way. Saturn, his home sign is Capricorn. He rules Capricorn. And since it's his home, he wants to go home, but he can't because he is stuck in Sagittarius next door, and brother, is he irritated. I mean, it affects all of us. So I can't wait until it ends either, but Oh, especially if this is your second return. Look, take it in pieces. Here's what I suggest. A few days before the new moon, when there's just a little sliver of a moon, of the old moon left in the sky, look up and set an intention for that next lunar cycle, something you would like to accomplish. And then at the halfway point with the full moon, well, you'll know if you're on the right track, and you can always change course if things aren't working out. This allows you to give shape to things over time. That's why I sculpt, you know. Oh, sculpting. Sculpting is my passion. Psyche has never spoken to me so profoundly as when I began to sculpt. Taking the confusion of wet clay, molding each handful until something takes shape and I can express what's going on. The here and now. I'm in this day. I am in this place. With Saturn sitting on my face. So, back at the revolving door, we are trying to get our financial house in order. Oh, there's a risk of big layoffs. You see, too many debits and not enough credits. I am asked to provide some analysis on the revenue side, which I do, happily. Oh, putting in lots of extra hours, spreadsheets, calculations, multiple solutions to delay or even prevent anybody having to lose their jobs. And, you know, within a few days, as in like 2 or 3, all the layoffs are announced. And my analysis is credited with justifying the action. Judith, please tell me this is not the reason I survived 2 presidents named Bush. I hate to say it, but I have to. This is Saturn at work again. The restriction, pressure, pushing out the truth. What are your thoughts about retirement? Well, what do you look at me like that for? Are you saying you've never even considered the possibility? Well, a lot of people going through their second return at least consider, if not actually, or planning what you might like to do when you retire. Sculpting, writing, what have you. It's one of those thoughts that was, it was never there before. Or it used to be. That's a long way off. And now it's, I'm really going to do that someday, aren't I? Retire. The R word. Or maybe I'm not going to do the R word after all at any time, because, I was reading that when you have a lot of planets in retrograde, like I do, it could signal activity later in life. What does it mean? Well, good question. Let's see. definitions of the R word. Okay. To withdraw from one's occupation, duh. To withdraw from the market, as in stocks and bonds. To withdraw an army away from the enemy. This is all about, like, retreating, withdrawing, giving up, giving in. No wonder I can't even say the word out loud. Some other definition, please. To go to bed. Oh, in baseball, to cause the opposing side to lose their turn at bat. Oh, to win permanent possession of something, such as a trophy or a uniform. To pay in full. To settle a debt. A debt. To myself? Ow. Oh. Peter, it's Judith. I'm terribly sorry, but I have to cancel our appointments for the next several weeks. I've had a fall outside of my home. I injured my leg. It will be fine. I will be fine, but the doctor says I have to take time to recuperate. I will let you know the minute I am available. OMG. So, it's just me and Father Time for the next few lunar cycles. You want the truth? My definition of the R word has always gone something like this. I'm sure I'll have enough money when the time comes, and if not, I'll just keep working, and in the meantime, let's be sure to buy lottery tickets. Now, I know I am not alone in that misguided denial, and it got me through for a long time, but Saturn says not anymore. Okay. My next lunar intention, FFR, face financial reality. Okay, calculator ready. Go. What will expenses look like? Okay, we've got household, we've got disposable, personal. What can be cut? Well, what will income look like? There's a small pension. There's the IRAs, which when I add them together, oh, well, that's not bad. Oh, that's not nearly enough. Oh, and Social Security, which a lot of people refer to as a joke, but I am not the least bit amused. You know, it's not like I did not try to prepare for the R word over the years. But at this vantage point in life, I now realize that it can take a special set of circumstances, a magical combination to actually pull it off. Okay. I will stop whining. 2 questions. When and where does the R word happen? Well, let's try a few scenarios. Okay. Let's see. When I'm 62. Okay. Yeah, we might be able to pull that off. But the phrase trailer park in Barstow will need to enter our vocabulary. Okay, when I'm 66-ish, that's a modest 2-car kind of household. and definitely not in LA. Okay. And when I am 70. Oh, that looks much better. Oh, but under current stress, I won't live to see it. Damn it! I'm an angry old man. And there's one thing that I have learned over the years, which is I can take my anger and use it to do the things I do not want to do, like my taxes, or a colonoscopy, or just dreaming that I have the force to push you into the next transit with my bare hands so I can have some room to breathe. I'm visiting my mother as she turns 90 years of age. Pitched her out. Well, you could say I'm here to celebrate her 90th. There is a small family get-together, lots of carbohydrates. You know, she's been in a slow decline for quite a while. She sits in a chair in a cute little studio in a retirement center, takes all her meals in, never goes out. Her thoughts don't always connect due to a minor stroke she had a few years back. I guess when she was in her third return of Saturn, giving her a new normal, which is still not normal to her. We've had a bumpy ride over the years. My father died after a long terminal illness when I was very young. And that left her to manage everything while also trying to deal with a unique brand of anxiety that I really understand because I inherited it. We then spent many years being politely estranged while she got used to the idea of having a gay child. She then watched a neighbor die from a terminal illness, AIDS. Because of my father, she could relate. Death brought us back together again, and we've lived happily ever after, kind of. You know, she honestly thought she'd be dead by now. You know, and I think there was a partial death at the time of that stroke. I think that could happen if we live a really long time, that we could die partly many times over until we're completely dead. You know, she's kind of like my crystal ball in a way, because for every year that she lives on, I can see myself living that long and longer. What will I do with my time? Will I find a safe place to be old and gay? Aging is complicated in our society, where we want everything to be golden and managed and comfortable and designed by Joanna Gaines. It's not. It's hard. It's painful. It's personal. And it's goddamn scary. I hate what she is going through, but I cannot change it without changing her. Judith! Oh, thank God you're back. When was the birthday? Your mother is a Scorpio. Oh. Well, so am I, you know. Oh, we're an odd bunch. Oh. Ruled by Pluto, the dark planet. Who would want that? Oh, lots of secrets, and we are survivors, no more than we may care to admit. Well, I have a heart condition, but trust me, I'm not going anywhere. My mother went through a long decline. A nursing home in Tarzana. Oh, it was the best we could afford, and it was horrible, like bedlam. She hated it, I hated it, we all hated it. She passed a few years ago, mercifully. Well, look, here's some good news. Jupiter's next move will be into Scorpio, so he should bring us good fortune. Perhaps your mother will be granted her freedom. You're a better son than you think you are. Have I ever thanked you for your openness? Oh, I get so much from my gay clients. My daughter is a lesbian with a partner of many years. I seek to understand what she goes through to whatever extent I can. Your husband, he seems very supportive, yes. What do you think he'd do if you weren't around anymore? Well, you know, he got along just fine for 50 years before I came along, so if something happened to me, well, he's very good at feeling his feelings, so he'd grieve and he'd heal and he'd move on with his life because he's an adult child of a normal family. You know, he carried the weight for the first 10 years of our relationship. And then, with the recession, it became my turn. He's older than I am, and now he's semi-retired, which I kind of... Well, I'm more than kind of. I gave him permission to leave the workforce and fill his life in other ways. And that was fine, as long as I was thriving in my work. So it's not about whether I'm around or not around, but if I change my life, will I be forcing him to change his? It is like I am reneging on an unspoken promise. What damage might I do? To us? At one point, I considered doing myself in so he would be secure. Isn't that romantic? Okay. Meanwhile, back at the revolving door, we are now on executive number 7. I go to a management meeting. Like any other week, we're having personnel and salary issues again, but this time it affects my team. Oh, contentious conversations followed by quickly staged meetings for the people affected, then department meetings to discuss with everyone all the way through. I am trying to manage 2 project deadlines in the next 48 hours. On the way home, in the car, I yell at people who are not even there. Do you have any clue what you are doing? How the hell did this happen? Who the hell do you think you are? Now this I actually do from time to time because It allows me to get stuff out of my system without damaging any relationships. But this time, it's just noise. Driving down a canyon road, the traffic is moving fast behind me. I can't pull off. I can't stop it. There's curves, there's drop-offs. I know this road, I know it, but I can't stop. I can't stop. Not from today, this month, this year. Good God, nearly 2 fucking decades. I can't do this anymore. I cannot. I don't care if I tear everything apart. The house, the mortgage, the savings, the shit we piled up in every corner, his dreams, my dreams. I don't care anymore. I finally reached the bottom of the fucking hill and pull over. Oh, he's gotta hear this. He's gotta understand it. I can't do this anymore. Where are you? I will come and get you. Peter, are you still there? Call your therapist immediately and then call me back. Do you understand? She's not there. She's not. I'm going to drive home. I can make it. I can. If I have any problem, I will pull over and call you. I promise. I make it home 30 very long minutes later. I walk into the kitchen, I drop my crap, and I collapse into his arms. I am sorry. I am so sorry. You have nothing to be sorry about. I do. I'm putting everything at risk. Everything we have that we've worked so hard for. You are taking care of your health. And that is the most important asset we have. No question. I married the right guy. The pressure's gone. The fear is gone. Oh, it's like whatever happened. Whatever happens, I'll deal with it. Congratulations. You know, I'm not certain what our sessions are anymore. I don't think you really need me as a therapist. Oh, the occasional check-in is perhaps. I'm not advising you as an astrologer. You're doing some of that yourself, yes? Oh, learning, mentoring, oh, perhaps. Or maybe just good conversation between a sculptress and a writer. So, what's next? I've given notice, but I'm not leaving the job, not right away. You see, I pride myself on graceful exits with no revolving door, thank you very much. And beyond that, well, I can tell you this, it's not the R word. Now, you see, when I first saw that big black nothing in front of me, I now realize it was like a clearing. of the slate of my life. And what choice did I have but to fill it with, well, with work, with creativity, with my home. But something real, something tangible, three-dimensional, kind of like a sculpture. You are a sculptress, shaping my blackness into form, into future with little more than a circle on a page and a sky full of stars. It is just days before Saturn enters Capricorn, and I'm trying to contact Judith to confirm our appointment, as we always do, because it is time to celebrate. But I'm oddly having a difficult time reaching her until, finally a call from another therapist. It's the first time that anyone has ever said this to me. Are you sitting down? It goes like this. The sculptress steps outside her door on the way to an art exhibit. Pain sweeps across her arms and chest. Neighbors come running when they hear the scream. In a matter of minutes, she is gone forever, like a bolt out of the blue.
Like a bolt out of the blue, steps in and pulls you through. You wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
He's gone. He has finally moved on. And I wrote it down, Judith. I wrote it all